Right, it's Backyard Conversations, and we're back this time around with Temi. Timon Davies, where you been, man?
Surprise. Yeah, just, doing a lot of things been happening at the same time. So, we had to take a step back, but we're back in action.
I've been making excuses for you that you're busy, you're working, you're traveling. So tell us, man, where you been?
Oh, I just got back from Asia, man.
How's
Did
that?
a, yeah, I mean, it's really, well, I mean, some places you expect, others I was pleasantly surprised by. Like, obviously, like I went to Japan. It's what you expect, like, technologically advanced, et cetera, et cetera. But it still kind of blows your mind. Like, you expect it, but you still kind of like, right, there's a lot going on here. Like, because I've been to like, I've traveled quite a bit and I've been to like a few big cities. So I was trying to compare my experience there with like other big cities, like what you consider like mega cities. Like I've been to like Miami, for example, or like Panama City, which Panama City is like lots of skyscrapers and things like that. Or I mean, London is a big city, but not in terms of like high rises in the same sense. It's just like a big city. So I was comparing them. I went up to a spot where you can like basically see most of the city because you can't see the whole city. It's expansive, right? But I could see most of the city from up top, and it was endless. I was like, because I didn't know this before,
Mm-hmm.
but when I in that experience, I was like, this has to be the biggest city in the world. Because I was like, I've been to big cities and this is bigger, so it has to be like in my head. So I was like, quickly chat GPT. I was like, yo, what's the biggest city in the world? Boom, Tokyo. I was like, okay. But then I was like, what's the best city in the world? Because I was like, this has to be the best. Like in terms of what the city is, it has to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, like, Tokyo is usually ranked up there too as number one. I was like, yeah, because it makes sense. Because their underground system, wild. Like it's a whole other city under there. Everything is connected. They have like these burrow lines everywhere for blind people, where you can basically get around the whole city if you're blind. Like
That's wild.
everywhere. Like it's just yeah, it's just crazy. And then you go somewhere like Vietnam, which I'm thinking, one of the likes of like poorer country, blah blah blah. Pleasantly surprised. They have most of the things you would need, very cheap, affordable, right? But they're very advanced. Like the tourism industry, by the beach, like the hotels were amazing. The food was great. The people were nice. The weather, the beach, probably the best beach I've been to in the world.
Really?
Like the temperature is amazing. It's warm water, fine sand, clean. Yeah, it was great, man. I love Asia. I'll definitely go back.
That's lovely to hear, man. I'm just picturing you at a lookout in Tokyo, and you're just trying to find anything but developed l- property, and you couldn't find it. Everything was
It
just built up.
it's just built up. I was like, how did they build all of this, and how long did it take to build all? Because it's crazy. Like how you have like streets on like different levels. So if you go in the building and you get off on the ninth floor, for example, when I went to the government building, the ninth floor was on street level. So there was a major road, all of that. But then you could still come out, go all the way down, and then get on another street. Like it's just like different levels. It's
So it's
it's
pretty well thought out.
yeah, it's crazy, man.
Right.
And
So, I mean, you talked about Tokyo and then you spent some time in Vietnam. How does that compare to like, you know, one of the biggest cities in Africa? I'm talking about Lagos. And
man, I don't want to. I don't want to put Lagos on. Lagos, first of all, is when you say city, it's just based on the population. Lagos is not a world-class city, right? It's based on how many people live there. There's a lot of people that live there, but honestly, that's about it. That's about the classification it gets as a city. Because in terms of development, how they like, I don't like to go to these terms, but they say first world, third world, all of that.
Mhm.
Like, when I went to Vietnam and I was like, oh, well, they call this the third world. But I'm like, this is not on the same level as
There's nothing
Lagos.
third about this.
Yeah, it's not the same. So if this is third world and you're saying Lagos is also third world, then Lagos has to be a few, maybe fourth or fifth world. It has to be a little bit behind. I'm not even joking, like,
Take it
because
lower.
they're not on the same. And for a country that has less of a GDP than Lagos, Lagos has a bigger GDP than Vietnam. So, in quotes, not Lagos, but Nigeria.
Nigeria.
So in quotes, Nigeria should be technically a richer country. GDP per capita is not larger, but the GDP as a whole is larger, right? And I
Wow.
was
You
like,
think?
they're just way more developed. They're way more developed. They have, 24-hour electricity. Their roads are good. You have good, ride hailing services, hotel,
Safe
customer
too, right?
service. It's safe. You can go out at night, walk, You don't have that pressure. There's no harassment. I didn't even see the police once.
One time.
The only time I saw, and I'm not even sure if it's police or like maybe immigration or something, was at the airport,
Yeah.
right? I didn't see the police on the street. Like I didn't see like police cars and like, do you know what I mean? Like it's very safe. So like I don't think you can compare. Lagos is just, and it's like, and Lagos charges you a premium for all the this like you can stay in a nice hotel. I'm not even joking, like nice hotel, breakfast included, rooftop pool in Vietnam, in Da Nang, especially for like $40 a night. That's not that you can't do that in Lagos, man. Lagos you're gonna start paying maybe from like 150, but you're not even gonna get that rooftop pool,
You won't
right?
get
You're not
it.
gonna get the same level of like, I come out from my hotel straight onto the street. I can walk down the street, there's restaurants, everything. It's way more developed, man. I feel sad for
Mm.
for Nigeria, but
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like you said, the name Lagos, sure, it's like the biggest like business hub I would say. Especially West Africa, and for the most part Africa, and that's what's carrying the name of Lagos and whatnot. When you talk about safety in Asia, like I felt the same exact way because I was in Shanghai last year a couple of times, and you'd be out 2 o'clock in the morning, just walking, you just feel really safe, you just calm. It's one of those things where I've seen so many funny scenarios because the cops don't even carry guns there. So
mhm.
that was a culture shock for me. And I'm curious what your own culture shock was when you were in Japan and Vietnam.
Yeah, it's not even so much as so much of the fact that the police are not noticeable in these countries.
Yeah.
Like that, I feel like that tells you to a certain degree how safe a country is, right? Um, you don't like when I went to Panama City a few years back. When I went to certain areas like Santa Costera, like those areas by the water when you're walking, you could see like the Panama police or they were standing there with like big AK-47. So you can kind of that kind of gauges like if you go to Nigeria, see lots of police checkpoints, things like that. You can tell. But here, like when you don't really see police, right, and everyone's walking about at 2 a.m., then you kind of know that this country is safe because they don't need to be there to protect the tourist or
Yeah.
whoever because it's pretty much a safe country. So I did not I don't I have no idea, I'm not even joking. I have no idea what what their police cars look like because I didn't see a single one.
Of
I
course.
didn't see a single one. I have no idea what the police uniform is like because I didn't see a single one. So I don't even know if they walk around with guns or not because I didn't see any of that. In Vietnam, in Japan, the only one I can say that I did see is I'm not even sure if it's police or just security, but usually when you come out the train station, like there's like the atrium or whatever it's called, the entrance point, there's usually someone standing there. But I feel like in uniform. So I don't know if that's police or someone that can give you directions that you can ask for help for. I don't know
By the
who
way,
that.
gloves, like white gloves.
Um, I don't believe so. Just like they're usually just standing there at attention, so they're probably more police, I would say, rather than because they look like discipline, more training type of thing. And then, oh yeah, I saw the police one time when I came out the train station, parked in the car, and I just asked him for like directions, like, oh, we're trying to get to this place, because it's like it can be a bit correct. Like sometimes the levels, right? Like you'd be on the road, but there's another road like under that road. So
This
that's
is this.
yeah, exactly. So like just asking the question. That was the only time I remember seeing that police in Japan, and in Vietnam, I didn't see them at all.
Wild.
Yeah.
So I know still on culture, you soaked in a little bit of 7-Eleven in Japan.
Yeah.
So what are that like culture? I know you were obsessed with 7-Eleven. So what else did you this stuck with you for the most part?
Yes. I mean, it's not so much 7-Eleven, but it's just like the convenience stores have like a certain
Vibe.
whatever to them. Yeah. So it's like 7-Eleven is basically kind of similar to like they have like H Mart or K Mart
Mm.
there as well. They have like other stores that kind of like the same thing, but the thing is that those stores are more than like they really are like convenience stores, like when you use the word convenience, because you
Yeah.
can get whatever you need easily there. So, and 7-Eleven is 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, well, and they're everywhere. So you could be hungry right now and be like, I need a meal. And you go to stuff. Like they have options. But Japan is a very go, 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 right? So I feel like a lot of the places have like supermarkets where just like come in, grab your food and like head out.
On to
So
the
they have,
next.
yeah, pre-packaged good food. Like they'll have pasta, bolognese, they'll have noodles, they'll have all different kinds of sandwiches. That like they have like actual full meals, rice or whatever, sushi. Like everything is just ready for you to just grab it and then go, right? And just little things that make sense, little conveniences that make sense. The cup of ice in the summertime, you can just buy that, pour your drink in it. Like sometimes they will even sell the drinks like it'll be frozen, right?
You
Because it's
always
really hot there in the
talk about
summer.
how like fast paced Tokyo is. It's trying to make me imagine what. rural lifestyle in Japan is going to be like something more, much slower, just calm, you know.
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely a lot more calm. I've seen a few videos. Couldn't really do like a smaller city like maybe Kyoto. But I saw videos where it's like it's drastically different, where it's more serene. Like
Mm,
they keep more of the old architecture, like the Asian roofs and things like that. Even cleaner, because even though Tokyo is a major city, it's probably one of the cleanest cities, or if not the cleanest in the world. They don't litter.
that's impressive.
Yeah, everyone takes their garbage home and throws it away. So yeah, I wish I had more time to kind of experience that part of Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't have enough time to go there. But yeah, I can imagine how much more serene and calmer, and then even more like people are gonna follow the rules. Because in the big city, if you're getting people to follow all the rules and just be orderly, and I feel like in a smaller community, because Japanese people, they care a lot about what other people think of them,
Mm,
right? So you care what the random person on the street thinks of you. You care what the person standing next to you on the train thinks of you. So that polices them on their own, where they're like, oh, I'm not gonna cross the road right now on the red light because there's this person who can see me.
yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean, dude? I'm not gonna litter because that person's gonna see me, and that's like not honorable. Like, I think it stems from like maybe the samurai times as well, when honor was like the thing, and then
Yeah.
like kind of transitioned down. So you can imagine in those smaller communities where people even know people more, right? So they'll be able to hold them to account. So I
And
can
this
imagine
makes
it's
me
more.
think, because the two places you've been, I think they're more homogenous than, let's say, Nigeria would be, even. Because I feel like, a lot of these countries got their own independence. We talked about this, I think it was a couple of days ago, where either they fought for their independence, like it was won with blood and sweat, or,
Mm,
they just were not ever colonized or something. And Nigeria is just like the opposite, where these people didn't choose to be together, but they ended up it just happened. Now
mm.
we're together, and now we have to figure it out. Do you think that's one of the reasons why people would never really see eye to eye and they just like build something?
Yeah, I mean, that is probably like an instance. Yeah, that it's hard to say. It's hard to say that that makes, because when you think about like Japanese culture, for example, is very reclusive, seclusive. Like they didn't want to originally open their own island to the outside world, for example. Like Japanese people only opened up trade when they were basically forced by the US. Like the US basically forced them. They had a army or navy ship outside Japan when I forget his name, but a US I think colonel
Mm.
came there, and it was basically a threat like, you guys gonna do business with us, well, we're gonna type of thing. And that's when Japan really opened up. And then when you think back in the days when they had like the feudal system,
Yeah,
right?
the feudal lords.
And the time when the emperor was basically a figurehead, it was basically run by like a shogun, like like a shogunate instead, right? Think about those times too. But even then, it was ingrained in the culture, like being honorable,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that was already in their culture, being honorable. Okay, let me do better for my people, or like things like that. So I feel like that's already ingrained in their culture. So it's hard to say. Vietnam, I know, is a bit different because they had the war there. But probably after that, they thought to themselves, like, we need to do a little bit better to make our quality of life also better. If we fought for this, we fought to keep this, then at least let's try and show that
Yeah,
the system might work. I think that might be it there. Yeah.
just might be. Let's stick to Tokyo a little bit and let's talk about the Xbox Tokyo Game Show. I feel like you probably didn't even know this happened, but as a game show, I think a couple days ago.
Yeah, I've been so out of gaming
Yeah,
lately.
I mean, this one wasn't. It happened pretty much around the same time Sony had a state of play. So the Sony event ended up overshadowing the Xbox event because the Xbox didn't have like too many original games that were showing, and now I don't think people look forward to Xbox showcases as much because of the current Microsoft strategy, which is everything is an Xbox. Your iPhone, your Android device, your laptop, as long as we can stream games to it, it's an Xbox, right? So people are like, this strategy doesn't necessarily um, lend itself to exclusivity because everybody can play everything at the same time. On the Sony end, they announced quite a few new games because one just launched, the Ghost of Yotei, which is kind of like a follow up to Ghost of Tsushima, which is critically acclaimed. And the biggest talking point was the new Wolverine game. It, this game seemed like it was stuck in development hell for the longest time, and now it has a release date sometime next year, and it actually looks pretty darn good. So that's pretty much it in terms of like the state of play. There were other titles, and some in some other side of the announcements, Hideo Kojima wasn't there, but in
Mm.
his own presentation, he announced a couple more games that he's going to be making. One with in partnership with Sony, another one in partnership with Microsoft and Xbox. There's some
Yeah.
new things coming up, especially with this current gen consoles.
I saw the trailer. I didn't go deep in it, but I saw the trailer for the Wolverine one just to see what the stuff like the gameplay is like and like the brutality in it and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, but I'm not even sure if it's I know it's mostly like story mode, but I don't know if it's like open world. Is it gonna be versus modes in there? I'm not really sure what the strategy around the game itself is. I just watched the trailer just to see what the graphics
like
and
looks
things like
like.
that look like, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I see they kind of went with the classic, Wolverine, like the shorter, like as opposed to the Hugh Jackman
To
Wolverine.
the even to the
Yeah,
costume, like it has the yellow and the
yeah, yeah. And did that. Yeah, it looks good.
it's being developed by Insomniac, the same guys who made the Spider-Man games.
Hmm.
So it's definitely going to be heavy on just like first person, not first person, but like a single player mode.
Hmm.
And so if they're going to incorporate any kind of multiplayer, it's probably going to be added on after the fact, I think, because they didn't show anything in the trailer that like would lend itself to
Yeah,
multiplayer.
exactly.
So, but I won't be surprised. I feel like 2026 is going to be one of, if not the biggest share for like this next gen consoles, especially with GTA 6, right? That game alone is going to sell more
Mm.
PS5 Pro consoles than I think Sony can imagine because it's going to be the most demanding game of this generation. So it's 1 year to look forward to gaming. If I can actually make time to play all these games, it'll be fun.
Speaking of gaming, I feel like they should stick the superhero or whatever genre to the gaming industry for now. I think we've had, well, I speak for myself. I think I've had enough of like superhero movies. They should stick
Mm,
that genre
yeah,
to the game. I like what they do when they adapt video games though to series. Those usually come off really well.
like The Witcher,
Like The Witcher, even not just The Witcher, but what's it? I forget the name.
Arcane.
Arcane's great, like
Yeah,
anime, but like live action even, right? Like when we talk about what's the one where it's a post-nuclear apocalyptic world? I forget what.
Last of Us.
Last of Us is also a good one. That's another good
That's
example.
something. Oh, talking
Um,
about Far Cry. Is it
Far
the one
Cry,
on
Far
Prime?
Cry is also good.
Yeah,
There's so many of them. There's I'm not sure why this is
Fallout.
Fallout. Thank you.
Okay.
I was trying to remember.
Yeah,
Like that's good as well. So like the adaptations of video games into,
live
and those
action.
are generally not like superhero. There might be fantasy or like things that so they're not very super. But I feel like we've had like I don't know how many years now of like superhero movie. I think that's also the reason why they're not banking as much. Not so much maybe the storytelling has gone worse, but also like we've just had a bit too much of it. I feel like we need to go back to like real stories, um, or other kind of like cinematic experiences, right? I miss when we could watch a movie and just be on edge from something else rather than oh this guy's gonna fly up in the
Yeah.
robot.
I feel like this is your kind of way of making a slight dig at the new Superman film.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's not even digging at it. Yeah, that movie. I mean, it is what it is, but it's just like I get it. Like studios want to make money. Like they have these characters like they own and they want to make money off of them, and they're big characters. Like Superman is well known, for example, right? Like you want to make money off of that IP or that, um, whatever it's called, right? But at the same time, like where's the real writing, right? Where's the real life
But
experiences
you kind of like
in
Fantastic
movies?
Four,
Yeah, well, that also incorporates a lot of like realistic
some
things like
humanity.
family, like
Yeah.
things like that into it. But at the same time, I want to see more, like
More
thriller movies
grounded
that's
stories.
like
I mean, you talk about thriller now. We talked about Sinners and you like crapped on it. So
I
let's
didn't
talk about
crap on it. I'm just saying I would rather see Sinners than like see another superhero movie right now. But
yeah.
also Sinners also has a supernatural aspect to it too,
It
right?
does.
It has a supernatural aspect to it. I watched it twice. First time I was like, ugh, whatever, man.
Same,
I'm not
same.
even
I
gonna
watched
lie.
it theaters too.
Like the hype is overhyped,
Nah.
in my opinion. Second time I was more favorable to it. Second time I
Yeah.
was like, okay, it's kind of good, but like I wouldn't put it as great, but it's good. Like I'd rather watch that than watch Superman or
Yeah.
like I see like the filming concept is great. Like the techniques that they use, like the
The visual
blending of
effects.
old and new and things like that. Like I watched like someone talk about the movie, like give it a review on how they use like the birds, like the vultures, like to like signal different things.
Mhm.
And then I watched it the second time, and then when I'm watching the second time, I notice those things, right? So I'm like, when the main vampire guy's approaching the house and the three vultures are
Circling.
circling,
Yeah.
those like I noticed it now, like before I didn't. And then when everyone in the house is dead, they settle on the house, the vultures, right?
Mm,
So then I noticed those little things. So
yeah.
that makes it like I enjoyed the movie a little bit
There's a
more.
lot more detail that you didn't pick up the first time.
Exactly. There's a
Did
lot
you
more.
hear the fan theory that the indigenous people in the start of the film might actually be werewolves?
You know, that could be it. Because think about it. How were they able to like subdue him? Especially because it was, how they subdue him the night before.
The
Because
night
now,
before.
like during the day, they had him.
Yeah.
So that could make sense. Like,
Yeah.
and how are they so bold to be able to come up to the house? Because for instance, if they got into the house, like he's a little bit protected from sunlight. So that actually might make
Might
sense.
be a good fan theory. Well, if there's anything I know, I'm 90% sure there's not going to be a sequel for Sinners. You know what? 95% sure there's not going to be a sequel. What I am sure of, though, is I think now it has become a franchise on its own. There could be like an animated series based on Sinners that could be
Mm,
maybe a mini game or something because
yeah.
it's like in its own universe now. It's a single IP that is just it has legs.
And I mean, when it comes to vampires, there's always the introduction of supernatural. So I'm sure if they do that, they're gonna introduce some other things. Maybe not werewolves, to maybe they'll put in,
Yeah.
like the concept of like witchcraft was already sort of like there, or ancestral worship, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yoruba Ifa,
Yep.
things like that. So they'll definitely incorporate those things because like, what's the story now? They fast forwarded to the future. Like, what's life with those guys living as like we need to know those things. So like, they
So many
probably will have to
Many big
incorporate.
questions. I really like it. So far, it's my favorite film this year. I haven't seen a film that I like more than Sinners this year because it's so layered for me. It's Louisiana. It's the music, especially the music scene. Like that still moves me. Like
Mm,
it moves me. And it's so layered for me. I haven't seen a better film this year. I don't know if I will see a better film this year,
yeah.
but I'll keep looking out for a film as good as Sinners
Honest-
in 2025. What's your favorite film so far this year?
I'll probably put it on maybe Sinners too as well. Like when was Mad Max? That was last year, right?
That was last
That
year.
was last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I kind of crapped on Furiosa.
yeah, yeah. You crapped on that. We'll come back to that. Yeah, but I think I might say for Sinners is probably my best this year.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't even know if I've watched that many films this year because I tend to like drift towards TV shows now just because they're better. Like TV shows are better, but they also um there's just more time to tell your story, right? So I feel like I'm on like TV shows. Like that's where I've spent most of my time this year rather than like movies, right? But we'll see how the year goes on. There's some expectations for next year as well. So we'll get into that and we'll see. Maybe my love will come back for the movies.
Same. I'm heavy on TV shows now, even though I try not to binge. I do at most like two episodes at a time because I like the episodes to like sit with me. Sometimes when you binge, it's so easy to forget what you've watched in a matter of days. But like with Severance, even with Shogun from last year, and I told you I
Shogun
finished
was
Shogun.
so
It's
good.
so good. Shogun
Shogun was so good.
is such a good film. It's been green lit for season two. I'm not sure they started filming yet, but it's been green lit, so there's gonna be a second season, which is exciting.
That
As
was the
much
best
as
show last year, I'll
as
tell
much
you.
as that show cleaned house at the Emmys, I was so surprised. The guy who played Blackthorn, he didn't even get a nomination, and his
Um,
performance from to me was stellar.
the black, that's the Englishman.
Yeah,
Well, was he even English or Dutch? I don't remember now.
yeah, yeah.
It
Yeah,
was, it
no,
was, but at the same time, I could feel it was like a little bit theatrical in the sense that it was a little bit overacted out, like with the way he speaks and the way he's animated. But I guess they're trying to show him maybe he's trying to copy the Japanese culture and trying to be
he's
more
a little bit
like,
of that. He's
yeah,
awkward.
yeah, a little
Very
bit awkward and
foreign
things like
land.
that.
He's trying to blend in.
Yeah.
There's I think it was a really good performance, but he's gonna be definitely back for season two because we saw his. I don't want to spoil, but if you haven't seen Shogun, and this is a spoiler, I'm sorry.
I mean, if you haven't seen it, yeah,
Yeah.
come on,
So
dude.
at the end of the show, we see him as a much older man, so you could tell the story with him surrounding the main characters. He's gonna be there for a long time. Basically, he's one of the main characters.
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna jump, like maybe they just jump forward and then they'll go back
Probably.
in time for us. Cause like I'm trying to remember the actual story of the real life story of like the shogunate. Because I mean, we know Japan it essentially becomes like a shogunate later on. Like the shogun becomes in charge. I think it was until the Meiji Emperor where he took power back. The Meiji Emperor took because how it is in Japan. So they have their religion, which is like Shinto. Right in the modern days, it's a mix of basically Shintoism and like Buddhism now. But mostly Shinto is the major religion. And back in the day, the emperor was seen as more of a religious sort of leader. He was
leader.
a figurehead. He didn't have any real power. He didn't, but he was respected, right? He was respected. I'm pretty sure maybe some people did pay taxes and things like that, but he didn't have like the military capabilities and things like that, right? The shogun was the real. He was the military head,
Yeah.
right? He commanded the army basically and things like that. So the shogun was the more powerful. And I'm sure the emperor was probably maybe afraid of shogun. But at the same time, the shogun's like, oh, probably like, I can't kill the emperor. Or I can't. Like, if the shogun could, he would probably like, but it's like that will cause like a backlash.
You don't want
It's
that.
considered like, think of Europe and think of the Pope and the King, that kind of vibe, right? So later on, the Meiji Emperor, which is, that's not his name, by the way. Like Japanese people, they name the emperors after their period or maybe what
For
they
the year.
accomplished or, yeah, the era and things like that, right? Yeah. So that's why he's called the Meiji Emperor. So he's the one that essentially took back the power to the dynasty, basically. And it's crazy how the Japanese dynasty, right, has been there. Like they've been there since they're the oldest dynasty in the world, right?
Really?
They are the oldest dynasty in the world. You might be thinking of English, nope. Because
I
especially
thought
English
maybe
dynasty
more
has switched
like
between houses.
in other parts of Asia.
Nope. Even yeah, they're the oldest. Because like I mean, China got rid of the dynasty, like the Song dynasty that don't exist. From Genghis Khan was much later on. I think Genghis Khan's grandson, I don't know his name, Kublai, no, Kublai was the younger one, tried to invade Japan twice. He lost, right? Tried to invade Japan twice. So, but the Japanese dynasty is the longest on record, unbroken dynasty in the world. They've been there since, BC type of vibe. Like the line has never been broken.
That's impressive.
Yeah, like it's
And you
continuously
wonder
gone down.
why
It's never shifted
Tokyo.
houses too.
You wonder why Tokyo and the rest of the prefecture look the way they look. That's your answer.
Oh, I guess so, but it's crazy.
So let's switch from military tactics in the Meiji era to like 2025, where there's some news coming out that Microsoft are blocking Israeli military access to some cloud services. Did you hear about that?
Nah, I didn't tell me about it. What's that?
So essentially, Microsoft employees have been protesting outside of Microsoft because of their involvement in the war in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
And these things are usually very complex, right? Because you have companies that are already involved in government contracts, and the government contract may be military that also
Mm-hmm.
involves something that supports some other war where your employees do not agree with. Case in point, Microsoft supplies Azure cloud services to a certain extent, and this
Mm-hmm.
includes a lot of like geolocation, all this sensitive location data that you know basically pinpoints Palestinians to Israel. And so they turned off the switch on one of those cloud services. As much as this is like a win for people who are pro Palestine, or they feel Microsoft is doing too much to aid the Israelis in this war, there's another side of the pond that people are like, well, this is A, too little too late, and B, it's like they're just virtue signaling because this doesn't hurt the Israel military at all. This is just one service out of like who knows, maybe tens or hundreds or those kind of scenarios. That's basically the implication. It's like there's a group of military personnel now who are blindsided on this real time data that supplies location of some greater Palestinian people to the Israeli military. So yeah, Microsoft. There's one thing they have to do, right? It's walking a fine line because employees are always protesting what their company is doing, and it's hard to separate the fact that a company is a separate entity that's just it's not an ethical entity, it's just a company.
Mm-hmm.
The company's job is to make money, right? And so when they have government contracts, like there's a lot of conflict there, and employees do not they do not stand for that. So there's that.
Yeah, tough one because like I mean, how does that apply to other companies that maybe make a product and say a third party sells it to
Right.
someone else that you don't agree with, for
That
example?
happens a lot too.
Yeah. So it's a tough place to be at for sure.
Yeah. So we saw some news today about how the people over at EA Sports are looking to buy out their company from investors for what, $50 billion?
Yeah, I don't get that one done. What's going on there? Like I'm trying to understand the purpose of like buying back
Just like you,
to own private ownership. Why?
I'm trying to understand myself. And historically, apparently, this kind of buyouts where a company goes from public to private, historically, it has never gone well. Either the company becomes a shadow of itself or it just completely dies out. And people are speculating that A, there's some Saudi money on the back end, and this might be a part of the entire sports washing agenda where they could easily focus on sports games because as you can see like the Saudi money in golf and football
Mm.
is astronomical right now, and so they will be able to focus specifically on sport IPs like the FIFA's or FC games, the NFL's, the hockey, because I know EA still makes hockey games, etc. And basically advertise more pro Saudi things in the game and just kill off all the other IP like what was the RPG game that um that's critically acclaimed by EA. That's part one, part two, part three. That's an Andromeda. What is it
Um,
called?
it's basically compared to Call of Duty, right?
Oh no, this one is even like a bigger, massive game. I forget what it's called, but in any case, I feel like it's one of those things where it just goes through,
Yeah.
and there is certainly some, and we find out at some point that there's definitely some Saudi money at play. Yeah, it's just gonna be just forget about any game that's not a sports game
Mm.
because it's just gonna be one of those things where they're gonna have some kind of sharp focus that you never see, very precise focus, and it's gonna kill off a lot of things. That could be the reason why this is happening. Maybe somebody wants full total control of
Mm.
a massive gaming company.
I mean, fair enough, but I mean, they'll have to have like several rights in order to keep them as the major player. Where, because if they don't, then another company can rise up, have the rights, and people will play that game with FIFA rights, for example. But I mean, what they might want to do is, which might make sense if they want to put in more effort. So like we could now maybe see Saudi league teams on the game and make that playable and make that even more enjoyable where people are opting to play for that. They start getting to know the players. That makes their own league even bigger.
Yeah,
And honestly, if that's the point, I'm up for that because I mean, seeing more diversity in football, soccer is like would be great to be honest. And even the fact that players thinking or like they don't have any choice. They have to go play in Europe if they really want to be that player, right? And then
mm,
closer
that's
to
fair.
retirement, that's when they think of Saudi. But now they can think in their young age, okay, I want to go to Saudi and not just think about the money and think that okay, that's prestigious as well. So that opens up the market to a little bit more
It does.
um, inclusion, right? Like I think like I don't mind. I don't mind that because now a young player will be like, even if they might offer him so much money, might be like, oh no, no one's gonna know me if I go play in Saudi Arabia. I'd rather still go play in Europe, right? For a lesser amount, and then make my name first. I can be in the book. At least I can win, I don't know, Champions League or something like, which is more prestigious, right?
Yeah,
But then now if the Champions League or Prem or whatever in Saudi and that's also prestigious, then maybe it doesn't matter if I go play in
perhaps.
Riyadh or wherever, right? So
That's fair. I mean, I'm all for like diversity in the games. Women were introduced as well into Ultimate Team, I think 3 years ago, and it stuck. Like everyone, like people have forgotten that is a thing now. It's just normal to have
mm,
women in the game, and it, I hope I'm not wrong, but I think the Middle Eastern teams already also show up in the games. But if anything, I think it will just try and popularize it more because they have like the Al Hilal and those other teams already in the games. So yeah, that is one reason why EA might be going private. There might be somebody who actually wants full total control of such a powerful game studio.
yeah, I mean private, but it still has to be shared because I doubt one individual is gonna spill out 50 bill
Oh
to
yeah, they know
own
what
it,
they're doing. You
right?
know how these
So
families operate. Like they have
yeah,
more money than you can imagine, so they know what exactly they're gonna do to get it. It's like the time they acquired Newcastle, right? Like jokingly now, Newcastle is the biggest club in England because they have the wealthiest owners, right? At some point it was Man City, but now it's like it's Newcastle. Yeah,
crazy times.
crazy times. Hey, money talks. And in recent years
Green.
as well, Spotify are tackling this quote unquote AI slop issue they have. So basically, there's a lot of songs on Spotify right now where you just turn up your phone, you start listening, it's AI generated, but you don't know.
Oh, really? I've been off Spotify for like a year now, so I'm not even.
Huh. But you know the plot twist? There's some information that Spotify actually created these AI musicians and put them in their app.
They're probably trying to test that out and see how well they do, and then maybe they can move into like AI musicians. That's more money for them in their pocket, right? They're not sharing revenue with
That's
like an artist,
exactly why they did
for
it.
example,
That's
right?
exactly why they did it. So basically, they can also claim to their shareholders, like, look, we have significantly more artists on Spotify right now, and on the flip side, they are the ones creating these artists, and
And they can control the genre too. Like you know how artists want the creative, freedom, right? So like the one year they make a pop album, and the next they're like, oh, no, I want to make R&B, or
yeah,
they want to do that with an AI. artist per se, you can do whatever you want.
and you
Right?
can
You can keep making that same type of music forever. Is artist the AI is not gonna be, oh, and I'm tired of making pop. It's not really me. Like I want to make something more fusion. Like it's not gonna tell you that, right? Exactly. You just tell it what to do, and that's what it does. So that's another part of it as well, right?
I mean, Spotify users are calling BS because they're like, if Spotify is actually really serious about this, they should just put a toggle in the app that says,
Yeah,
"Don't show me AI music." Like, just turn AI mode off or something
exactly.
like that. Like, if you're really serious, that's what you should do. Because if you think about it, Spotify is already in hot water for paying artists way less royalties than other
Uh-huh.
streaming platforms. I think they pay the least compared to like Tidal, Apple Music, and the rest. And Spotify also turned their app into a shadow of itself. If you go to Spotify and you think you're listening to music, no, it's audiobooks now. It's podcasts now. It's like now DMs. Like, why am I DMing in my music
Wow.
app? You know, you get me. So it's become a shadow of itself, and it's like
First of all, there's no need for AI artists because there's so much talent already. There's so many people already putting out so much music.
good music.
Like in this day and age, we get way like think about back in the day when people would just release one record out. Like now we get music
Back to
all
back,
the yeah. Like we
back to
don't
back.
need a like certain things we don't need AI, but we don't need more or sort of like that
I agree.
content. Like
I
why do we
agree.
need more? Like that's
Just recently, Bieber dropped like an album, and like 2 weeks later, he dropped a second album with like 40 tracks,
yeah.
like back to back. You know, and you're telling me we need AI generated music? Come on.
It's really not needed. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what Spotify is doing these days in terms of audiobooks and things like. I'm off Spotify because like for me, my money is on YouTube. I'm on YouTube Music. Is more value for me because I get to watch my videos on YouTube ad free,
Yeah,
and I get to listen to
listen to music,
my
and
music
YouTube
and
algorithm is so good.
yeah, and also like there's lots of other artists on YouTube that are not like on Spotify, for example, right? Like, upcoming artists or whatever.
Yeah,
Or maybe they went to a radio station and did a freestyle. That's not something that's available. So you're not gonna
Spotify.
find it on Spotify. Like J. Cole was on maybe the morning show or something. I don't remember what show it was on that he did a sick freestyle. It's on YouTube. Like you're not gonna find it on
You're not gonna
Spotify. So
find
I
it on
have that in my
Spotify.
playlist
Yeah,
because it's YouTube, so I can download it as an audio into my YouTube music app
that's
and
good.
listen to it. So like I'd rather just stick with that to be honest.
All right, Spotify, if you're listening, because we do post this podcast on your service, you know what to do. Take out the AI slop and let users have more control over their music. All
Yeah.
right.
Or you can pay us and we can switch the conversation. I'm just joking. But I don't know if you've seen that meme where it's like influencers in restaurants and they give them a stack of money and they change the conversation about the food.
Food now is the best thing ever. All right, so I think that's it for Backyard Conversations this week. Thank you for sticking to the end. As always, thank you for your 5-star reviews. Keep them coming on Apple and Spotify. Even on YouTube, we're getting those likes these days, so that's pretty nice.
I don't know. Let us know what you want to even, hear about, what you want to talk about. We have so many things to talk about. There's barely enough time, but yeah, let us know. We incorporate that.
Yeah, share it with us. Feedback. You could use our Instagram. Leave a comment on there. And yeah, until next time, it's Backyard Conversations.
Adios.
We're out.